Hey, there's no shame in trying things that people ain't never tried before.
What's going on? Boys, it's your boy. Third attempt on the video that's supposed to be easy and lighthearted and fun and energetic and easy to make because it doesn't have a point. The hardest part of making videos is making videos with points, and this video has no points, so it should be easy. But really, how do you incorporate your new mic arm and your pop filter besides an oversold skit in the beginning where you're pa and fa-fa-faing? Well, by getting energetic and overselling it for the third time. Selling it in not selling it. That's why they pay me nothing. Boys, the big bucks, I don't get them. Today we're discussing weird things I did as a kid. Weird thing number one. I froze action figures. Old ones, new ones, but it worked better on new ones because the ice would get into their chibbly bibblies and break them up and loosen them up. I would take old water bottles, cut their tops off, drop the action figures in, cover the tops with saran wrap, and stick those bad boys in the freezer for about 3 days. 3 days was the good time. They freeze faster than that, but if you're a 5 to 7-year-old cryogenic mad scientist, or just stupid, you leave them in for 3 days. Additionally, the saran wrap compiles into that stupidity, because when you're a kid, you know what freezer burn is. You know it makes food bad, but you don't understand why. So you're afraid your action figures will get freezer burn. So you put the saran wrap over the top to guard your action figures' integrity. 3 days later, you take them out. You take them to the sink. You have your towel, and you carve them from their plastic skins, and you shove the frozen cylinder underwater, and you're feeling the water bottle's bumps in the ice, conformed to its form and all that. And you get each piece individually free and broken free and snap the ice from their arms and torsos to loosen them up, and it's a blast. But it also is stupid, because why are you doing that as a kid? Who knows? I mean, what else would you do? I'll tell you another thing I did. Bonus for this video, for the third take, not for the first and second takes. I took a big plastic tub and filled the bottom with rocks and plants, and I actually made a small terrarium inadvertently. And that was a makeshift swamp for my action figures when I was a kid. I used to really like action figures. I had no friends or siblings because my mom just kept having miscarriage after miscarriage before I was born and after. I'm not adopted, but there was no one around. And I wasn't allowed to go outside and be a child, although later in life I was chastised for not going out and being a boy by the people who wouldn't let me go outside and be a boy. So I made swamps and enacted little stories and froze things as a mad scientist. Action figures help you tell stories. Really cool. When I was a kid. Well, not really cool, but you know what I mean. Weird thing number two. I didn't believe in imaginary friends, and I never had imaginary friends growing up, but I desperately wanted them. So, going the extra mile, thinking, well, maybe if I go through the motions, then I'll finally believe, I made a scarecrow out of a sweater, some jeans, some old boots, some gloves, and a paper bag. I didn't have a cloth bag, but the paper bag ended up being more unsettling because I cut eyes and a mouth out and stuffed them with hay, and spiders infested the plastic bag, so moving him was difficult because when you touch him, spiders would flood from his eyes and mouth. But that is really metal, and that's pretty cool. Anyway, I had the chromosomes to make something that abominable, but I lacked the IQ to build a cross to hang him on. So instead, I just tied him to a tree and named him Hans. And I visited Hans a couple times, thinking, if I sit here and talk to Hans enough, maybe I'll believe he'll start talking back to me, and of course he never did. So I untied him and shoved him somewhere, and I don't know where he is now, but Hans lives on, I'm pretty sure, unless he rotted away. Maybe he did by now. Weird thing number 3. I ate where I shate when I was a kid. Never at the same time, but in very close proximity. I would take food, run to the bathroom, eat it all in 3 minutes, very quickly, then violently shit everything I could. Why did I do that? I don't know. When I was younger, it just made sense. Put the food in, get the food out. I was quite the curt businessman as a child. Weird thing number 4. I was obsessed with trying to be cool and strong as a kid, and I would make shows of it without ever actually backing it up. So, in 6th grade, early 6th grade, one of my friends was walking to my house, and he got bullied by a bunch of elementary school kids on bikes. So, as not to be outmanned, I put on a life vest and a cowboy hat and some swim goggles, and we were gonna go whoop some elementary school kid ass. Because if you can't beat someone your own size, pick on someone smaller. Right? We didn't, of course, because we weren't those kinds of people, and even if we had, someone would have beaten our asses at some point. But we weren't strong. My ego, I just needed to make a show of how tough I was. When I was a kid, I would put tactical in front of everything. I had a bowl cut, but I had the attitude of one of those dudes with aviators and no chins who always talk about how badass the military is. Weird thing number 5. When I was 10, I didn't know how sex worked because I never got the sex talk growing up. So I wanted to figure out how it all worked. And obviously, it's your balls, right? Your balls are where babies come from. And I was partially right. I thought boys secreted nut from their balls, right? Because your pee-pee is where you pee from, but you nut from your nuts, obviously. So my first jerking off, quotes, attempt was just grabbing my balls and hurting myself for about 5 minutes, hoping something would happen, and instead just being pained and disappointed. But that about rippity wraps this one up. I hope you enjoyed watching, because I certainly enjoyed making it. Nothing serious this time. Boys, 3rd attempt. Just a little grab bag of stories, vignettes, as they were. I've been on some taking myself too seriously shit, and we just can't get off it. We're jumping right back in after this, boys. Like if you enjoyed, because that helps me out a lot. Subscribe if you haven't, because we do this shit sometimes, and comment your thoughts, because I love hearing from you. What's a weird thing you did as a kid? Thanks again for watching, everybody. Really, we have a lot of fun on this channel. So much fun, in fact, we can hang this fun, your fun, our fun, from the mic arm in front of our faces. It's rated for 1.5 kilograms. Fun only weighs about 1 kilogram. Boys, it'll hang nicely, and we could even stick a pop filter in front of it. And that's how much fun we have on this channel, and I look forward to doing this with you guys again in the future.